Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the High Council podcast. I'm your host, Ferno9, or whatever the fuck you want to call me. I go by way too many names these days. And I am joined by the main boys. We got our boy, Call Me Crazy.
Yes, sir.
And then we also got our bucko, Vector.
Yo, it's great to be back.
All right. We are back. Indeed, we are. With episode 25. We have our reasons for our hiatus. Things have been going up and down for all of us. We haven't really been able to... Well, nothing's really worked for all three of us at the same time, so we've kind of been stuck. But we're going to get back into it now. My shit's a bit more on track, and it's going to get more on track once I get some shit going now very soon. Yeah. But welcome in to another episode. Today we're doing part 4 of trailers and theories. For those of you who listen to the podcast before, you know exactly what this is. We're going to talk about a few things. Today it's just theories though. It's not trailers. Today it's just theories. And we're also going to do a slight Mando recap. We're going to talk a bit about Mando here and there, what we thought about this last season, a few key moments maybe here and there. Not a full review, but a bit of a recap. So this should be fun. This should be very, very fun. And the theories that we're going to have, we're going to discuss a bit. What do we think is going to happen in the next season of The Mandalorian? Because obviously now they've ended on this season has just ended. A crucial few things happen in the ending. There's a lot of stuff that is unanswered, whether that be on purpose or if it's something to do with Kathleen Kennedy having her hand in everything again. Who knows? But we're going to have to theorize a bit about this and see what they might do in the next season. And I guess maybe kind of try and create maybe an optimal season 4 for The Mandalorian. Because I think most people can agree, and I guess I'm going to start off our recap of this season with this. I think a lot of people were left slightly disappointed with this season of The Mandalorian. There were a few issues. There are some good moments here and there. I'm not saying that I didn't enjoy this season, but personally, I feel like there was a lot of stuff that didn't really work. And there were some things that I feel like were a bit unnecessary, and some things that I think were just dumb filler. I think there's a few things here and there. So I think we're gonna have an interesting discussion here. But I think all three of us, I know that I am with Vector. I'm not sure what you think about Akami, but I know that me and Vector definitely feel like it was definitely the weakest season out of the three, and it definitely had a few moments that were a bit of eyebrow raisers.
Crazy. So I mean, I don't even know. I'm a bit crazy when it comes to it. We all know that. It explains my name. But at the same time, like, through and through, I really enjoyed the season. I'm not going to lie. I just love how they brought back Mandalore. Yeah. And what they're going to really try and do with it all together and what they're trying to do. I'm really stoked to next season. But again, there was some of those faults on some of those episodes that they released on Mandalorian as well.
Yeah.
But
well, I'm very proud and happy that you found your enjoyment with this season. Otherwise, for me, now let's put this into context. Like, an average season of The Mandalorian is almost 10 times better than anything else that's being put out right now.
Yep.
But this was just not a good season in comparison. Only in comparison to the last two that came before it. I mean, like, in this season, it was already been stated that this season was jumbled. It had no direction.
Yep.
Multiple writers were not on the same page.
And that was noticed.
And that super noticeable.
Mm-hmm.
The best episodes of this season were the first two and the last two.
Yeah.
Everything else in the middle made zero sense. It had no direction.
I think it
had nothing going on, and I was not really happy that we didn't get a congruent storyline throughout the whole season.
Yeah. I think as well, like, in terms of, because you're always going to have filler in shows because it's always there to give you a bit of a break from the main story and do something else, whilst it still builds something on the characters. Whether it could be that all it is that, you know, there's one character that learns one life lesson and that's it. Fair. Still a filler. Yeah. This season had so much filler. And we're going to get to one episode in particular that me and Vector briefly talked about earlier that I think everyone can kind of... It might be a bit of a controversial opinion because I think a lot of people cut it slack because of certain people that are in it. But I think that if you're going to be real, you have to criticize the episode as just not doing anything, pretty much. The only thing you got out of it, and I'm talking about, I don't remember what the episode's called, but I'm talking about the Jack Black Lizzo episode. It is...
Oh, that was interesting.
To me, I did not like the episode. I found slight enjoyment in it. Kind of, sort of, but not really. The only thing I kind of enjoyed was like some of the droids. But there was even things there that I didn't really like. Like the B2 battle droid just running away from them. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? But it was such a filler episode. The only thing that we realized was that, okay, so what, are the Mandalorians mercenaries now? That's what they seem like, because they're getting paid to guard the fucking planet. Yeah. That's it. Right? Another issue I had was Jack Black and Lizzo. Now, and also Grogu having some sort of weird ass fucking fling with Lizzo, which I didn't understand what the fuck was going on there. Now,
I think later on it might play a bigger part than we know right now, which I'm hoping they do, because if not, then I think it was definitely a filler and a waste of the episode.
But you see, that's the thing for me, is I feel like then they should have spent maybe 2 or 3 episodes there and built a relationship, build up a conflict that they have to fix. A proper conflict.
Definitely like what they did on Navarro.
Because yes, it is a proper... because I feel like that is like I feel like they brought a conflict that was interesting. It's like, okay, so these people, they still use the battle droids. Okay, that's kind of interesting. Fair enough. And some of them are going a bit berserk. So what is this? Zootopia in fucking Star Wars? What the fuck is this?
It doesn't make any sense.
But do you get my comparison? It is Zootopia. You know the movie. You know the movie where like the fucking wild, all the animals that are predators go fucking wild. That's exactly what it is. Some of the droids just go fucking wild, and I just don't.
Yeah.
And it's like,
if they're gonna use aspects like this, then this setting made like it. I didn't like it.
And it's like
they brought back B2 battle droid. They brought back B1s. Like they brought like OG episode 2, episode 3 droids that we haven't seen on the big screen in live action in so long.
And it's like
come on, like this could have been done way better.
Yeah.
This was not it.
Even the conflict like this, because it's like this because like the part of like the droids going rogue, this kind of reminds me of some of the arcs in the Clone Wars. But those arcs in the Clone Wars go on for maybe 2 or 3 episodes usually.
They go on for 3. They can go on to 3 to 4 episodes.
And if they don't, it's a clear character development episode. Something develops for a character. They realize something that comes to play later on, or it's just very clear that it's an important thing for them to learn. But
I'm not bad with filler episodes, but we have to have a main story before we have filler episodes, and we didn't even get a main story.
That was also the thing. Like in terms of like how much filler we had, we didn't even know what was going on. We did not have a big bad.
This felt like a filler season.
We had a big bad, kind of, and the bounty hunter guy, and we lost him, and we lost him halfway through. And it was like, okay, we got a half season left. Yeah. And it's like, but also,
I get what they tried doing with it, but like, remember how she was supposed to gather up all the Mandalorians as well?
Yeah.
I think they should have done a deeper story within and trying to find those other Mandalorians and where they went, because we know not all of them went over there to become technically, what are they?
mercenaries?
To get their jobs correct.
Yeah, they were paid to fucking protect the planet. It was like, what the fuck is going on?
I know, and I get it, but at the same time, like, they could have done so many other cooler things with that, would made more episodes. Maybe involved other planets that we've seen before, like maybe a couple of them in core or something, you know. But like, they didn't really do that much.
And then it's like, but
then just didn't execute.
And it's like they're there to protect the planet, and then they have a droid issue, and they're not gonna solve it. Like, what the fuck is that? And they could have built something cool on it. It's like Bo-Katan going up to them like, well, why are you doing this? Well, Mandalore is gone. We have to like make ends meet or whatever. Like, something interesting to why they're doing it, not just like, no, we just don't give a fuck. Like, it was basically just that.
Yeah.
But then also, like, in terms of,
think about it. Think
about
it. They really did.
Think about it. All the Mandalorians that you see, spoilers. There are other Mandalorians on Mandalore when you go back there.
Yeah.
But they're just riding around in the desert. Like, why didn't they go down there sooner and just retake it? Because there's nobody down there.
Yeah.
Why didn't they take it back sooner? Like, this makes zero sense.
Yeah.
Like before the Empire was there was nothing there. There was some scrapper droids. They could have taken it back way before the Empire came back.
You know, that's
and did all that.
Yeah,
like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
like
I think
get there, and then Moff Gideon's lair was there. I think it was kind of thrown at us rather than anything. It was like, oh, okay, so they made a base here. That makes no sense. Well,
yeah, like
but you know
how long that would have to take for them to sit there and do nothing.
But you know what though, Vector? I kind of feel like because of the time that it took, because like, remember, like, the Siege of Mandalore was, I'm pretty sure, very, very early on in the Empire's time. And so then all the Mandalorians flee. They're not going to go back. So it makes kind of sense that Moff Gideon, that
everyone else left.
I think they were trapped or something. No.
Yeah. So we thought.
Yeah, or like, so we thought. Like,
they said everyone. They said everybody abandoned Mandalore. Like, there are no life on the planet.
But see, that's what they thought. But they were obviously all scattered, you know. So it doesn't. So that's what they thought.
There was a good 50 people. There was a good 50 people. 50 Mandalorians. 50 Mandalorians is a lot of firepower. We've seen them take whole towns and whole regions with less people. Hell, it only took Boba and Mando to take a whole town by themselves.
Okay. But let's be honest though. That's a bit of a different caliber than trained Imperial troopers.
They're way better than trained Imperials.
Oh no, because I mean, like, we have the original Mandalorians that were there on the planet before, and then we have the Death Watch too that were kind of made.
The Death Watch were OP. You know? The Death Watch,
but they're pretty dangerous.
This planet would have got taken back.
But you see, that's the thing though. That's the thing though, is like the Death Watch era was gone. Remember, these Mandalorians needed help from the clones to take down Death Watch, and I also want to add on to that. The Siege of Mandalore, I'm pretty sure clones were still technically a thing. So imagine
the people still on the planet.
So no, but see, this is the thing: the people that then helped the Mandalorians then took it over. That just shows that doesn't show that the Mandalorians are weak. That just proves the clones are too fucking strong. The clones were the ones who, I would assume, I don't remember when
they took back Mandalore.
Exactly. So like, that's the thing. They needed the help from them and fucking Ahsoka and shit like that. So the fact that it's not so far fetched that they would then lose to the clones again with Moff Gideon in charge. Mm-hmm.
Slightly off topic, but like, wasn't Mando there to help Boba? But now all of a sudden, Boba's not there to help them, even though he's so-and-so Mandalorian.
What?
I was like,
see, okay, boys. Remember, this is Disney. They're probably gonna explain it in Boba Fett season 2 if that even comes out.
That probably won't happen. They don't
probably
want to see him again.
I mean, they fucked up then even. But
done.
which you know what? It's sad to see, but I completely understand it. You know. But also, I want to point out another thing, because going back, I'm backtracking now because of the fact that I want to get on to a very specific topic about an issue I have with this season that I did mention for Vector. And that is, if we go back to the Jack Black Lizzo thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jack Black being whatever the fuck his role was, I love Jack Black.
Zero.
And I love Jack Black. And I told Vector, I'm pretty sure I've seen or heard him say at some point that he is a big Star Wars fan. And I'm pretty sure he said
there was a lot of celebrities that said they want to be in Star Wars.
But I'm pretty sure like he's explained it a few times on his YouTube as well that he's like a massive Star Wars fan. I think he has like a bunch of Star Wars shit as well. But right, so the casting there kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah.
The reason why it doesn't make sense is because, and I told Vector this, Star Wars do two things with big names, only two, right? There's no in between. Either they're a massive, massive fucking role, one of the main or side characters, or they have or they have a swift 5-second cameo. You know? Yeah. There's no in between. Jack Black played a fucking filler character, which I think a lot of people can agree, basically terminates him from ever being in Star Wars ever again, because now he's played a character that is canon.
Yeah.
Lizzo, I have no fucking clue what she's doing there. Even if she, like, if you're gonna be like, okay, who's a celebrity that I would want to see in one Star Wars episode just for a filler, I'm not gonna think of Lizzo straight away. I don't give a fuck if you're a Lizzo fan or whatever. I don't think I've ever heard her say anything about being a Star Wars fan, by the way. I don't even know. She could be. She can have said it. But it's still a casting that does not make sense. And they were both used in a horrible way, in a filler, and it was just to appeal to a certain amount of people, I would assume. It's just to reel in the money, because they know that it's going to blow up on the internet. People are going to post, oh my god, Lizzo and Jack Black were in the Mandalorian, what the fuck, oh my god. They're going to get more clicks. People are going to watch that one episode just to see that. I just hit my elbows on the table and that fucking hurt. I did not even mean to do that. And, and it takes me to Grogu because of his weird ass fucking fling that he had with Lizzo, which to me was fucking weird. And I pointed out to Vector. The first thing that we see, he's been training with Luke for 2 years at this point, which is another thing we're going to get back to. The fact that the only reason Grogu is in this season is because he brings in money. He didn't do anything. He went from being an interesting character that could have developed into something big into being one of the worst characters in Star Wars ever. Just saying. All he is cute and money. You're saying that this guy...
no character development.
Nothing.
He trained with Luke for 2 years.
And the first thing we see, the first thing that he does a fucking force jump. To Lizzo. Okay? Can I just... You train with Luke. Arguably, like, he trained with Luke and Ahsoka. One of them is the child of Anakin Skywalker. The other one is the Padawan of Anakin Skywalker. You're trained with two of arguably the greatest people to be trained by when it comes to historical Jedis. There's no S. Historical Jedi. You've been trained by both of them, and you're saying that all you learned was a force jump? I know that he did some epic shit in like the final episode. What else did he do this season? What else was he brought in to do?
He
Nothing.
Didn't really use so much force push or anything when he fought those knights. Like, someone give this Grogu a lightsaber. That'd be dope. Let's see what he can do with it. You know, or if he would get the dark saber or something. It don't matter.
And also,
I want to see what he can do in his future with this. Because if not, then I agree. Why he's still there, not training with Luke.
The fact that Grogu is back, it retcons the entirety of season 2. Season 2, the entire thing was find a Jedi, find someone that you can train with. Cause I'm just a fucking Mandalorian. I ain't shit. I can't teach you. I can't teach you a thing, bro. Go to a Jedi, find your people, and that's it. And then also, and I point out to Vector, imagine if someone who's not a Star Wars fan, right? They're not a Star Wars fan, they just like The Mandalorian. They like the show. They watch season 1, they watch season 2. They're not a Star Wars fan. That's all they watched. The last thing they see in season 2, right, is Din giving Grogu away. What the fuck are they gonna think when they start this season? And they're gonna be like, "What the fuck? Why is Grogu back?" Then they have to go and watch Book of Boba Fett to find out why, aka the OG Mandalorian season 3.
Yeah.
It's like they basically have to go back in time. They have to go back to a different show that they probably wouldn't even have watched ever, just to find out why Grogu is back. You know?
Yeah.
I was hoping that, like, cause I watched Book of Boba Fett and I thought, okay, I don't like that they brought Grogu back now even, but okay. I have hopes that in season 3, maybe he might have grown a bit. Maybe he's actually a bit more agile. Maybe he doesn't have his fucking 50-pound robe because it looks like it's heavy as fuck on him. Maybe he has something a bit more tactile now being back with Mando, because it would have made sense. If Mando was smart, he would have given Grogu something more tactile and had him make a lightsaber. He's 50 now. I mean,
he's got the IG-88.
Yeah, he's got a fucking like.
That's it.
Like
all
that's such a
no.
Like, bro.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I thought it was.
Like,
I thought the IG-88 thing was cute, but it's stupid because he's a Jedi and he's supposed to be powerful. He's the same species as Yoda. How much hype? You can't make more hype than introducing a new character that's the same species as the second most powerful Jedi of all time. Behind Anakin Skywalker.
The IG with the lightsaber, not him himself. It just shows
that's lame.
And nuts. I was hoping that he would be back with, like, I was like, okay, well, they've brought him back, so there's nothing else they can do now. Okay, give him something more tactical. If he doesn't have a lightsaber yet, because maybe he's not whatever the fuck, maybe he has to go back to Luke and then find this, because obviously he needs to go with a master to get the Kyber crystal, which he can't do with Din because he's not force sensitive. He's not a Jedi, so he can't do that. Okay, well, give him some more tactical robes. Give him a fucking Beskar spear. Give him the same weapon Mando has. Let Mando train him to use this, so now he knows how to wield a melee weapon. He knows how to wield it. He can wield it. Okay, good. He's using this. That's his weapon now. He bounces around. He's a bit more active, like Yoda. He doesn't just sit still. You know?
Yeah.
That's what I would have wanted.
It doesn't make any sense how they've ruined Grogu.
Yeah.
Like, Blair's right. Grogu has had so much potential. After coming off of Season 2, where, okay, you're going to go with Luke. You're going to be with him for 2 years. And then
come back and be
at
better,
that point, and you're going to be amazing after that. You come off of that. And okay, Grogu chose to go with Mando. That's fine. Yeah. That is fine. But you still should have learned something in that time.
I wish that we would have had this.
And then this was the outcome that we got. And it's so underwhelming. It's like a waste of time. It's like, why did you even give him up in the first place? If this is what we're gonna get.
He's like the Finn of the Mandalorian, a character that was introduced with so much potential. Could have been one of the greatest Star Wars characters of all time.
Ruined.
And then ruined.
Question then.
Do something with him.
I have a question that, since that goes into our next topic, what do we want to see in the next season out of Grogu and Mando then?
But
what do we expect?
We better see some more Yodas.
But
we better do something.
But you see,
I am sick to death of this.
This is the thing. My original hopes, because when the season 2 ended, my immediate thought was, okay, Grogu is gonna come back at some point because they're not gonna introduce a character like this and then just throw him away. But what I thought and what I hoped was that we would get the entirety of season 3, no Grogu, not even final episode. Then we start season 4. Then we get season 4, and then we go on maybe even halfway, or maybe a few episodes less than halfway. Boom, Grogu comes back, and now he's got proper robes. He has a lightsaber. And he started to actually become a useful character with Mando. Because right now, all he is, and I'm not even kidding, you see this in this season all the time. All he is an obstacle.
Yeah.
And but see that's the thing is, I hate to see it because I would love for Grogu to become a great character, and I think they can still do it. But now he just feels like an obstacle. They still have time.
Yeah.
But that was because that was the thing is he should have stayed with Luke longer. But I think now next season, have either Ahsoka or Luke have someone come in that can teach him something, give him some proper clothes so he can actually move around. Give him something. That's the biggest thing I want from the next season is make Grogu useful because he still has a potential. You know, he is still in the youth part of his career. You know what I mean? Like this guy's still got potential. He can still become the greatest quarterback in history. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah. But now that he's a proper foundling, he has to go on these missions like Mando did. So I'm curious to know what they're gonna do in the next coming season. Maybe he starts moving around more. Maybe he starts wielding a weapon of some sort, you know? And I'm really hoping we see that from Grogu and watch him grow. Yeah. Because if not, like you said, it's definitely going to be an obstacle for him where Mando's acting as a babysitter.
You want to watch him you want to watch him grow, Goo?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, no,
dad joke.
I think growing his character and also making Mando the main character again, which I think me and Victor are probably going to go into again. But I think that those are the two most important things, is make Mando the main character again, because this was the Bo-Katan show.
It had nothing to do with him this whole thing.
Also,
this was her introduction.
Yeah. Also, Victor, you sound a bit muffled there, pal. But I think this was the Bo-Katan show. And I told Victor earlier, I made a comparison that I'm kind of proud of. You know what Mando was in this season, Kami? He was the Ron Weasley of the show.
Wow, accurate.
Tell me I'm wrong. He was literally the wrong. He was the Ron Weasley of this show. This season, he was not the main character this season. It was Bo-Katan. And some people will probably use the argument that, well, it's called The Mandalorian, so it could have just been... No. His name is literally Mando. Everyone calls him Mando. He is the Mandalorian. I don't give a fuck. Everyone else has names. Sometimes they call him Din. Yes, sure. But he is still the Mandalorian. That's the point. So there's no argument as to why he is now the second character in the show.
Yeah, if they wanted to do that, they could have tied that into at least like a Bo-Katan show, or kind of. I get why they had to do it, but still make him the main character. Make it about him and what he's trying to do for Bo-Katan or for Mandalore in a way, you know. Yeah. But the whole time we kind of see where he had to hand off the black saber back to Bo-Katan, because she did win it back technically. But again, it gave her all that power in that show where all eyes were on her and not back on Mando.
Yeah.
You know? And for some reason, tell me if I'm wrong, did Mando seem a little weak to you guys during this season?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did not seem like the man that fought Moff Gideon and won.
Yeah. He didn't seem like himself. And like I think that's one of the issues. Like I just pray that for season 4, have him step back into the limelight. Give Bo-Katan, make her, because I guarantee that all they're doing is they're setting up Bo-Katan for her own show that's going to be called The Rule of Mandalore or The Rebirth of Mandalore. I mean, Rebirth is a DC thing, so they can't really steal that from DC. But so,
the thing is,
like anything like that, like have her be a back character
for next season.
We
already know what's to come. We already know what's to come for next season. They mentioned it in the last episode that we just had in the finale, because now he's going on this mission with Grogu.
Yeah.
But I think Grogu is going to take that spotlight where I'm hoping we see him grow, you know? But it's not going to be all about Mando again. Even though
he had no growth this whole
season. It's not going to be about him again, I think.
But you see, because like that's the thing is, like in the first season, Grogu had as much growth as he could have as a character that can do anything. So that was fair. Because the point there was just keep him alive, not him grow.
And then we had
season 2. You start to notice his power.
Boba Fett come in, yes,
and Boba Fett came in.
We
also
also had the Boba Fett show.
Yeah,
and tied right into it.
No. You mean Mando season 3? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mando season 2.5. Huh.
Which threw me off. I'm like, really?
Yeah. But like that was because like that was like the thing was like. he had growth in season 2 because of the fact, like, when he sat on the stone in this night, like, he had a few things going for him all of a sudden. In this season, he did nothing. He was just an obstacle all the time. Like, you saw that in the final episode as well. Like, when Mando was like, bro, I gotta save this kid. It's like...
Yeah.
Like, yes, he did what he did with the fucking Force and all that at the end. But, like, we didn't see any of it. Maybe, I don't know whose decision it was. If they were like, yeah, this is going to be a wow moment. And it could have been. But because of the fact that he hasn't done... If he had done, like, a few Force things here and there, showing a bit of ability, then, like, yeah. Okay, fair enough. Then it's a oh wow moment. But now it was like a, oh, for fuck's sake, yeah, finally he did something moment. You know? And that's not what I want. Because I want nothing more than for this show to prosper and for the characters here to grow. And especially Grogu. I feel like Mando, I wouldn't be surprised if they give him more and more of a back seat and kind of transition it into Grogu becoming quote-unquote the Mandalorian, because I think that would have been kind of cool, actually. But what I think for next season, I don't want Mando to take a back seat and Grogu to be the main one. I want them to be Bonnie and Clyde. I want them to be the main characters together. Those two.
I'm hoping, like, first season we get back, they're in the middle of something going on, like as we've seen before in The Mandalorian, where he's already starting his bounty hunting when he found what's his name on the Frost Island.
Like I don't remember his name either, but like start mid-action, and then this is when we start on all these adventures. And don't, please, for the love of God, this season has to just be, all it has to be is build the characters, and especially Grogu. Build Grogu as much as you can.
Definitely gonna have to note later and see how much has changed from the last time compared to this episode we have here now on the High Council podcast.
Definitely.
But like, see if we get what we get out of it. You know, have we seen something grow, or did we just see it fall apart again? And knowing them with not all these writers not on the right same page, I'm hoping they can finally come together and make an epic season for season 4. Or but not let it fall apart like it did now and add a bunch of fillers with other celebrities such as like Jack Black and so forth.
Like,
you know?
don't just add Lizzo and Jack Black just to add Lizzo and Jack Black. If you're gonna add a celebrity, add them for a purpose. Or like just let's see them come back. Do like Star Wars does. Either they're a big character, or they are a 5-second cameo, or they're James Bond and they're literally wearing a Stormtrooper outfit and you don't even know it until they tell you afterwards. You know?
Yeah.
Do it the Star Wars way. Don't do this shit. I can't, like, I don't know. Sure, if they want to if you want to add them as like kind of main characters in some way, shape, or form, or maybe they move to the planet. I don't know. Maybe that's where they start living. Mando and Grogu. Maybe. Fine. I just don't want. I don't want this to be a common thing where they just bring in people just to bring in numbers. Because Grogu's already there. The only reason why he is back is to bring in the numbers and the money. And this is why I hope for season 4. What I hope, and what I said about like Grogu growing into the Mando and Mandalorian taking the backseat. Next season, I want character growth on both of those characters, and that's it. That is the focus: is growing those two.
Yeah.
Having cameos.
That alone, definitely doing that alone with Mandalore, they can get a lot of views and a lot of fans. 100%. That's what we want to see. We want to see the growth. We want to see the Mandalore. You know, they finally brought it back.
Yeah.
But again, we need to see the growth. Especially coming from us big fans, enthusiasts that we love the love for Star Wars.
Because that's going to bring back the people that feel a fall off now because they're disappointed with what happened this season.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm saying. The character development that I feel like would be best. Start growing Mando next season already. Start growing him into an old Ben character. Start growing him into the mentor, and start making Grogu his own self.
Grogu has no
and not only
identity
that, but now he's
right
adopted,
now.
but it's his son.
Grogu has like zero identity right now.
Start making
really
Grogu
really
his own person. Make him start to carry his own weight. I'm not saying that at the end of season 4 he should be able to take on all the fucking stormtroopers he sees. Which, by the way,
he should be able to do something. At least have some type.
He has
of, like,
to be able to hold his weight.
I can help my dad. I can help in some type of way.
If he sees 20 stormtroopers, he has to be able to hold them off without dying. I'm not saying.
Look at what happened to Mando at the final season. Mando by himself, took with no weapons to start with, went through corridors. Of trained stormtroopers and jet troopers and shield troopers by himself.
That's
Grogu did nothing to help. That is ridiculous.
Because he can't. He pretty much couldn't. He pretty much couldn't. But also, that was the one point in this season as well, which also did annoy me. That's the one point in this season where Mando has actually seemed good. Other than when he's been in his ship. That's the one point where he's actually seemed like himself. He hasn't,
because the rest of this time
like,
it has not felt
people. I found it funny. Like, some people were like saying that, like, remember the pirates when like him and Chief Karga were like shooting them outside of the people were like, oh my god, Mando took all of them by himself. No, didn't you see? Grief
Grief Karga shooting too. What are you talking about?
They took half each. Okay, they took half each. And also,
that man soloed them.
Yeah. Did you guys see the way that, like, the comparison between him and Anakin standing like against the wall? I found that funny when he was just standing leaning into the tree. That was like just like Anakin in episode 3. But like
everything is just like Anakin in episode 3. Come on.
Karga and Mando, they took out half of those parts each. But also
let him all out by himself.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
And then still had the energy to fight Moff Gideon with help from
yeah. So like but another thing
from Bo-Katan
was like, cuz like, okay, like that's just like my point was like let's be honest, he would have used his his fucking what are they called? The things in his gauntlet. He would have used those to take the pirates out. Why didn't he use those? Why did he decide to blast them? Because if Grief Karga wouldn't have been there,
the Song of Birds.
Like because if Grief Karga wouldn't have been there, considering the fact that Mando took half, Grief Karga took half. By the time that he's through half, one of them is gonna have the draw on him or shoot someone else. Why not use the other ones? I know that obviously, yes, he would know that Grief Karga was there, but doesn't fucking matter. Take him out easy. Be as cold as you've been before. You know?
Yeah.
It might be nitpicking, but I feel like he wasn't himself this entire season.
I'm also really sad that through this long legacy of having the coolest saber, arguably the coolest saber in Star Wars, just crumpled up and thrown away without any explanation of how is the saber black? How did they get it to fit like this? Just zero.
Which goes
zero explanation.
Which goes back to our conversation with Victor that we had, that like that's in Legends. They explain the dark. I'm pretty sure they like briefly explain the Darksaber in Clone Wars.
They don't even explain it that much. They don't even explain it that deep in Legends. All they do is they say is that the Vizsla created it.
But like
they don't go into details on how. No one knows how that saber turns black. Nobody knows how that saber turns black.
No, that's the thing. I don't remember. I don't think they did, and I think you're right on that. I don't think they've ever
spoke about it.
And like, if there was one point that was perfect, it's this, when they have to win it back from the Empire because it means what it means. Like
the Darksaber is one of the cool. People didn't even care about the Darksaber until Mando brought it out.
No. People did care about it in the Clone Wars because Darth fucking Maul.
They cared about it. They cared about it, but now that it's in live action,
Now that it's in live action, people just fucking. But the thing is,
and people definitely didn't care about it before Clone Wars. No one cared about it.
Not as much. No.
But the thing is, I think most people are like me.
Fan, you knew about
dude.
You knew about the dark saber.
Yeah, but like that's the thing is, I think most people were drawn in and loved it right away when the first time they saw Pre Vizsla ignite that shit. Because I remember I was like, what the fuck is this, bro? That looks fucking dope.
Exactly.
And then then they build on it with like, oh my god, dude, this has to be won in battle. Like you have to win. Like fucking Darth Maul takes it from Pre Vizsla, who like and like this weapon, it's like, oh my god,
this weapon has meaning.
It's
been the same weapon for thousands of years. The OG concept that Tar Vizsla created. That weapon is so old and so ancient, and yet break.
And
just throw it away. Like it doesn't matter.
And it was also in Rebels, which I loved. I love
so many iterations.
But it's and like the fact that like they basically just took everything that was in Rebels about the saber and they just went, I don't really care about that. Let's just ignore that shit.
Exactly. Like,
and I was like, bro, like, oh my god.
That's honestly that's the biggest upset for me of this whole season.
But you know,
like honestly, I almost quit watching that last episode.
Yo, Vector,
because they killed that saber like that.
But Vector,
I'm very serious. I almost stopped watching it.
Vector, you know what this reminds me of? Remember what we talked about just before this about Luke? I feel like throwing away the dark saber is the exact same thing as Luke throwing away Anakin's saber in Last Jedi. It's like
that Joker hurt.
The biggest like what the fuck moment.
That dropped my jaw.
Yeah.
If they don't use the Mythosaur next season, I'm going to throw a tirade they did all this also not to follow up with that Mythosaur. I swear to God.
To anyone who didn't pay attention at the start of the episode, all of us did enjoy the season. We're just telling you what was not good within the season because we all agree that we enjoyed the season.
We wish,
but there's so many things that could have been better. And I think we're going on a bit. We might come across as a bit passionate about it, but that is because we love Star Wars and all we want is for this to prosper. And that's why it's like next season. Next season, I don't know if you guys want to agree with this. You can throw your own shout as well. But my main what I think as well, so it is a theory that I hope and believe and truly want within next season, just to rebuild what the Mandalorian was before the season. Basically do an old man turn Mando, start turning him into Ben. Not ending the season with him as like that sort of master character, but start building him to it. And turn Grogu into his own character. I'm not saying
Grogu should be taking on the villain of season 4 by himself.
Yeah, but also again, make them Bonnie and Clyde. Make them Bonnie and Clyde. Don't have one of them take a back seat. Have them be Bonnie and Clyde. They have just as much meaning. They are working together. That's the point. Give Grogu a fucking dope piece of clothing. Give him something that helps him move, because what he has now is a potato bag. A potato sack, whatever you want to call it. Take that off. Give him something more tactical. Give him maybe some proper tenor ropes. Maybe grow the fucker 2 inches, because he's been the same height for 7 years now.
Yeah, for 4. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So grow him a little bit. I'm not saying turn him into Yoda size, but I'm saying grow him a slight bit. Give him some new robes. Make him more agile. Make him actually be able to carry himself, because he should have the ability. He did train with Luke and Ahsoka for 2 years, which fucking hell. I mean, let's be honest here.
Disappointing.
And then it's like, okay, at the start, because he is now Mando's son, have him get a Beskar spear. Have him that's going to be his weapon throughout the entire series.
They cannot get it. They cannot have a Beskar spear because it's harmful to other Mandalorians. So he's going to have to get something else. They mentioned that in the Mandalorian.
But Mando has a Beskar spear.
That's why they turned it into armor. He had a Beskar spear.
Well, yeah.
He no longer have it.
But like,
and that's the reason why they got rid of it and turned it into armor. And that's how Grogu got his little thing. But let's give him some armor.
But see but that's my point though. I know that it's harmful to all of Mandalorians, but that's my point. I don't care. I just want him to have a weapon that he can carry with him that's unique to him, that can withstand a lightsaber, because that's what he's going to grow into using. That's the only reason I said a Beskar spear. That's the only reason. I know that they said about that it's harmful.
Or Beskar something.
Something that can hold his weight.
Have all that Beskar now. Obviously, they can afford it.
Give him something that he can wield until he gets a lightsaber. Either he has it at the end of the season. Either he has a lightsaber at the end of the season, or he gets it very early on in season 5. But give him something that he can wield throughout this next season, so that he can carry his own weight, he can deal with these fuckers and do a proper job. Make him a solid character, make them Bonnie and Clyde, and start growing Mando into the mentor character like an old Ben. That's what I want, and that's what I think they should do, and I think they could do, is finally start growing him.
Check out the Discord chat real quick on the table. And, I mean, if no one has joined already, we have a Discord channel if you guys want to join. But, again, if you guys take a look at what I put in the table, what they could have done for Grogu, they can give him full armor, at least, to make sure he can...
look how little he is. They could do it. I don't understand why they can't.
I know, and what I'm saying is, like, that way Mando doesn't have to babysit him all the time. We can see Grogu grow on his own, you know? Whether you give him a little blaster or something. Yeah. But I think they can definitely go alongside like that and try to give him something else later on than to kind of just see him stay the same, you know?
Yeah. So the most important thing is just, I'm not going to say that this makes it a good season, because I think they need more, and they also need to, I'm not saying that my view is the perfect one, but I'm saying, for example, like what I'm saying, grow Mando and make these two a Bonnie and Clyde combo, and just ignore everyone else. Don't have a bunch of side characters. Have a few people make a cameo here and there. Maybe someone teaches Grogu something, whatever it might be. I just want Grogu to be able to carry his own weight and develop him. And for God's sake, start letting him speak. He's been listening.
Something.
He's been listening to people speak for so fucking long. I don't give a fuck if he's got a fucking IG unit that can say no. I don't care. I want him to say no. I want him to speak, because at this point he should be able to. Right? Like, just have him speak. And also, I'm not saying right now, but at some point they're gonna have to cut the baby voice. He can't just be little and cute anymore. You have to start developing him into a character, because there's no development. If he stays the tiny cute motherfucker that can't speak, he can't hold himself, he's just a waste of space. And we saw it this season, clear as day. Right now, all he is an obstacle. And I hate to say it, he was an obstacle in the first and second season, but he had progress and development. And the reason why it was an obstacle in season 2 was, the reason why it was an obstacle, you know why? Because the point was to get him to someone else that could train him, so he wouldn't have been an obstacle. So then it's fine.
Yeah, he's still an obstacle.
And now he has been training, still an obstacle. He can't do shit. Yes, he saved them at the end, but it was too late. Too little, too late. It was a lot, but it was still too little, too late what he did. And the fact that he has to walk around in an IG unit, he can't walk by himself, I don't care. If they decide to say, okay, next season is, if they say like the next season is a year or two later, fine, do that. I just want, I want them to start off with him having a little bit of progress.
We just want growth.
I want
growth.
I don't want him to start off with too much growth, but I want him to start off with the point where he can actually move himself.
Like, say a little bit of growth.
Say like 2 words, maybe Mando and fucking okay or yes or no, whatever. Just something. I just want growth of the character, because it is something that I want to prosper. Because season 1 and 2 was amazing, and like the thing is, one thing that people don't seem to understand. Boba Fett, I think, is kind of out of the loop for this specifically. I think Ahsoka will probably join it. But Mando is in contention with Bad Batch here. they're both Star Wars, and most people probably watch both of them. But they're still like, okay, which one is the better Star Wars show? Bad Batch has had 2 consecutively really good seasons. Mando has had 3.5, if you count the half of Boba Fett that was basically his.
Yeah.
But the 3rd season of Mando is weak. And Bad Batch arguably had its best season now, with one of the most tragic endings that any Star Wars show has ever had. The way they ended it, oh my fucking god. I can't wait for season 3. Yeah. I can't fucking wait for season 3.
They killed Moff Gideon, but I think he's going to be back.
I swear to God, if Moff Gideon is back in season 4, they have fucked. They have really fucked it.
It was like, oh, somehow Palpatine survived. No, it's somehow Moff Gideon survived.
Yeah, you know? And it's like,
it's going to be that all over again. And also, I'm hoping they don't do that. We need another villain, but I'm hearing a lot of conspiracy about Thrawn. But
I hope not. The reason is because he's going to be the main villain in Ahsoka. And having him being the main villain in 2 different shows that are running at the same time within the same... Unless... Unless... And there's one thing that could make him... If he's not the main villain, but a side villain, could be that they... You know how, like, the DC... the Arrowverse, you know how, like, what they do? I think maybe that could be a thing, though. That, let's say that they build up to Thrawn, and then at the end of the season, he's shown up a few times in Mando, but he's always the main one in Ahsoka. The last season, the last episode of whichever, I think Ahsoka is probably going to come before. So let's say the last season of Mando, the last episode of the next Mando season, Ahsoka shows up right where we basically left off in the end of the Ahsoka series. They do a link up like they do in the Arrowverse. That could be cool. Yeah. That could be cool, but I don't want it. I don't want Thrawn to be a character in Mando. I want them to have their own thing. Have some sort of pirate chase Mando, and that's the main part of this next season whilst they're on all their missions. But I don't want to see a main villain all the time. I want to see them do some of their missions that is just difficult, and they have to conquer, and they have to do something. They work together, they build a chemistry, something like this that doesn't always involve the main villain. Introduce the main villain early on, build a bit on it, maybe explain why, who, where, what the fuck. If it is someone else that just wants Grogu again, fine. But also, I don't want it to be Empire again. I'm so sick and tired of seeing the Empire in this show. I had hope when I saw the pirates showing up in the season. When the guy had his ship over Grief Karga's place, I was hoping that was going to be a bit bigger. Maybe he had like a small fleet, so that it would have taken the rest of the season to conquer. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
but I just didn't.
As it did.
I just didn't want more Empire because Empire's gonna be in Ahsoka as well. It's like I'm not done with the Empire. I'm done with the Empire in this show because it just goes back to the same thing. And now for three seasons, it's just gone back to Moff Gideon, and all 3 seasons, what has he done? He's introduced a new powerful Empire soldier at the end of the season. This season, he introduced 2. One of them who's based on Legends characters, and the other one who's based on characters from fucking Rebels in Gar Saxon's Imperial Mandalorians. But they're genuine Mandalorians, so they're based on that, but they're not the same characters apparently. They looked similar, but no, they're not. And also, where the fuck is Gar Saxon? I know he lost to, but like, I mean, I don't remember if he died in Rebels. I don't think he did. But anyways, and it's like, okay, so what's this? He's introduced 2 types of fucking Imperial fucking badasses this season. Last season, he introduced these droids that are basically based on Thrawn's droids, which I find funny that they're just copying Thrawn again. And in the first season, it was like the Flame Trooper or whatever the fuck, or they introduced a bunch of new things. It's like, I think we have enough new characters now just start building on them. You know? Start building on what you have. Don't introduce everything that's new. And I'm not blaming Jon Favreau and what's his face?
Dave
Filoni. I'm not blaming Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni for this, because we all know, and I'm not just saying this because I want it to be this and just want to give them the benefit of the doubt. We know that Kathleen Kennedy plays a huge part in it. Jon Favreau even released a statement that he was sick of Kathleen Kennedy having her hand in season, I think it was this season 3 of The Mandalorian. He was sick of that, so he decided that he was just going to go over and work on Boba Fett instead, which she then came over and fucked up again.
How do you mess up both things when he tries to leave?
And
makes zero sense.
And then also with this season, there was a clear lack of direction. None of the directors were on the same page. Everything was kind of mishmash, which also fucks it up. Which I think John and Dave can both take a slight blame for that, because it's kind of their job to keep them in check at the same time as it is Kathleen Kennedy and whoever is higher up there. But they can take some of that blame. I'll give that. Like, they can take some of it because they have to take control over this. It is their stuff. But I don't know. I have my hopes and wills. This season was
not the best for me.
It was not the best.
I want the best for. I want the best for next season.
Yeah,
and I'm hoping for it.
I enjoyed the season. I had my moments. There were some things that I enjoyed, some things I didn't enjoy. There are so many things that are unanswered, like what happens on Coruscant. What's gonna happen to Coruscant? What's gonna happen to the High Republic? What are we gonna see from Mando? What's gonna happen with all those clones? What are all these other Imperial people gonna do? Like, when I say I don't want there to be Imperial characters in the next season, we all know there's gonna be, because they just introduced 7 more officers. So why the fuck not? But also, it's kind of like, bro, they literally just defeated arguably the strongest Imperial force you'll ever see, because they all had fucking Beskar armor.
Yeah, if they can't get better than that, then there's no hope.
And then it's like, for one, how does the Empire top it? And two, if they don't top it, and these characters still struggle next season, then they've fucked it. They've royally fucked it. They've fucked the entire show completely, and it's completely fucked. I don't know. I enjoyed parts of this season. I know we've all given our critiques of it, but that's kind of been the point. The point has been that, because the main gist isn't that we've just enjoyed it, because we've loved the previous 2 seasons. So that's the reason why we're kind of focusing on the negative, is because we're hoping for something positive, and we all expected something positive. So we want something better, and because we want this to prosper, that's all we just want.
We want to see where it goes.
We want to see, as Star Wars fans, we want nothing more than for this to go well. So saying all this shit hurts. It's not like I'm sitting here with a smile on my face saying, "Oh, this season was fucking garbage." No, I'm sitting here serious as fuck, thinking there was too much in this season that I didn't enjoy. There was too many issues. Every season is going to have one or two fillers in a show that didn't even have anything to fill in for.
Exactly.
They filled in when they didn't have anything to fill in for. They
filled in nothing.
The point of a filler is to take you away from the main action and the main villain and all that shit, and bring you back down to earth a little bit, just to recognize the characters again.
Yep.
We had filler where we didn't even know what the fuck was going on. I pretty much forgot the Empire was a thing for a while.
It's like there was no threat in the galaxy.
There was nothing going on. And then all of a sudden it's like...
And plus, you gotta think that at the start of Season 1, the Empire... Season 1 is 5 years after the Empire is destroyed.
Yeah.
So the Empire is not as good as it once was. And they even with all these advancements and all these things, they still fail like this. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I get confused.
Are they powerful or are they not powerful? Because someone gotta tell me.
It's like, I don't know where to put them. Like, they have powerful units, but it doesn't help them, clearly. It doesn't do anything for them. Is that down to tactical shit? Maybe. Maybe they need someone else at the helm. But it doesn't make sense because the way they set it up, Moff Gideon is the one who charged the siege on Mandalore, it seems like, in this universe. So that means he's a tactical fucking genius. So tactics can't be the issue. Something else has to be the issue, and we can't just say that we have another fucking OP character on our hands, because I will genuinely be pissed.
Yeah, I mean, now we've seen like what we need for this next season too. Definitely something to hopefully look forward to and see some character growth.
Yeah,
because I agree. Yeah. Sick of the Empire. Sick of Moff Gideon. I want to see something new. Someone that's going to not introduce a new trooper every single time to try and defeat Mando.
Yeah.
And they all fail.
It's like...
Or to try and capture Grogu over and over again. For what?
Yeah.
You know?
And can I say something that I feel like this is going to be controversial before we end this episode? I want to say one thing.
Oh, no.
Well, I'm going to ask you guys a question. How many more seasons of this show? I'm going to ask Kami first. How many more seasons of the show? Just answer me straight away. How many more seasons of this show do you think there's going to be?
I think we're only going to see at least 2 more before they find something new to play with.
So season 5 you think is going to be the final season?
Yeah, I think it's going to be 5 seasons.
Okay. Vector, what do you think?
I was kind of thinking the same way. I think it's on the tail end.
That's what I'm thinking as well. I'm thinking 5 or 6, but I'm gonna say one thing.
Yeah.
And this is not because this is not for any other thing than the storytelling of this, and also it making sense with what is canon. I think, and kind of hope, not because I want it to happen like that, but like because I think it is the best thing for it. Mando dies at the end.
Ooh. See, I don't think it's gonna end like that. I think he's gonna retire on Navarro.
But you see, that's
he already has a little house.
But you see, that's the thing, though. I think that they're gonna drag that on, because if we're saying season 5, that means let's see next season they travel around, so they don't settle anywhere. Then the last season is just protecting Navarro, maybe. And then Mando's house gets blown up and he dies, and that's the end. Like, imagine like the tragedy of him never being able to settle down when he's got Grogu. And I don't know, because you guys, have you both watched Dragon Ball?
No.
When Trunks sees Gohan die,
that is horrifying. That shit hurts, bro.
That pains me. But Vector, imagine how powerful and kind of like amazing storytelling it would be if we saw the same shit with Grogu and Mando.
Then they would have to solely and be forced to work on Grogu's character.
Exactly, but that's my point. They work on Grogu's character. You know what I said about him speaking? I want him to speak. The only way that I would accept him not speaking for the rest of the time of the show is if Mando dies, like a Gohan and Trunks, and then Grogu just says, "Dad," or "Papa," or anything. He says one word, and you just see him cry, dropping to his knees, lightsaber or whatever falls out of his hand. And then just the rage
turns into a complete badass.
and then he fucking destroys whatever it is.
The rise of Grogu.
And then it ends with some sort of like homage to him carrying the legacy of Mando. And that's how it ends. And then we see Grogu's character come in at something later, like many years, like I don't know, 2030 something, or I don't even know. It depends on how long they want to do this. But like, not 2030, but like, let's say like 2025 or 6 or whatever, after they've done with this show, then you have him come back as a more powerful character and a strengthened character.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to prolong this, and I think killing off Mando in the end is the perfect ending to this. He never gets to settle down.
Mandalorian. Yeah.
And that's when the show ends. Season 5, I think, is a perfect place to do it. Because if not, you're just pulling it. You're pulling it. Because he already has a place to settle down at Navarro. So next season, all he does is bring with him Grogu. Right? Then season 5, they're like, you know, finally they might be able to settle down. Finally, they're on a mission, and then they go home and they're like, you know, we can finally do this. Some big threat comes in, fucks everything up. Then and have that be a shorter season as well. A shorter final season, fewer episodes, no filler, maybe 1 or 2 at the max. But it depends on the amount of episodes you have. Depending on how many episodes they have. If they have 10 episodes, I don't want anything more than maximum 1 filler.
Longer episodes, hopefully.
Yes, a few longer episodes.
Only 5 minutes.
Some of them, though. Not all of them. Some of them can stay the same length. But some of them definitely longer. Definitely the final, the mid, and the end has to be a bit longer. And then end it with Mando dying, with Grogu still alive. Now his own man, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Now his own now himself being able to carry himself.
Unless they kill Grogu and we see a whole new thing of Mando.
See, that's the thing though. Yeah. That's the thing. I've thought about that as well. But I think that killing Grogu is the dumbest decision ever.
Yeah.
It is because of the few reasons. He is a character they can develop a lot more than Mando. Mando's at the back tail of his career anyways in this show. He's like, he's getting old. He's on the back end of his shit. If they kill off Grogu, like, now I'm speaking like in real lifetime, they're killing off decades of character development.
Yeah.
We're talking a character who now in the show was like mid-50s or something. Of a species that can
live up to 900 years old, like
and look how Yoda was still like moving at 900. Still. Yeah. Like
they could make Grogu for the next like they could make him for like the next 4 trilogies.
They can involve him in anything and everything. So killing him off is the dumbest thing you can do. But also just because of the fact that like the show is called The Mandalorian. The show can only end when The Mandalorian ends. You can't end it by killing Grogu, because then Din's gonna do something else. You know? So I feel like killing him off would just be the dumbest decision.
Yeah.
But
I agree. I was just throwing it out there as kind of like another thing to kind of throw in the pot to stir to see what we can do. Maybe I get he's kind of a big play in it, but maybe it kind of makes something more out of Mandalorian, because it is the Mandalorian show, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
But especially it's just not the time. Especially that he just adopted him and so forth, you know, as his own son. I think it's just something that needs to probably be done if we can't see nothing, if it's really the Mandalorian show, you know? That's probably something that's going to be the last resort.
Because, like, the thing for me as well is, like, if they don't end it on, like, season 5, and even ending it on season 6 is a stretch, I feel like. You've pulled it a bit too far. Then it's a drag on. I feel like if you don't end at season 5, and you don't kill off the character...
They need to have something really big and overarching.
Because I feel like if they ended anything after season 5, every episode is just going to be a continuation. Because they have nothing to build on now. The thing is, this character, I said this to a friend when the first season came out. This is not going to be a long-lasting series because they can't.
The only way it's going to be long is if they keep putting these fillers in with only 4 main episodes in a season. That's the only way they're going to get that. And I'm hoping they do not do that.
No, but they're not going to be able to do it, because as soon as another season like this comes out, and especially if 2 more seasons like this come out, people are going to stop watching. People are going to give up. They're going to realize that they don't have a direction. I know that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau would both pull out of that real fucking quick.
Yeah, I think that they need to go back to that character growth and so forth, just like they did in the Clone Wars.
Yeah,
because there's 10 seasons of that now. You know, they did very well. They need to go back and see what they can do to really grow this, if they plan on making it any longer, but have a reason why to end it, and not just end it like.
I think the way of doing it. Go to season 5. I know that our main point was that we're going to discuss the next season of Mandalorian, but we're just discussing the show in general. I think the way to do it. Go to season 5. End it. If they kill Mando or not, that's up to them. But I think killing Mando is the best bet, because of that just ends the show. And they can't do anything else with him anyways, if you know what I mean. There's nothing to develop on. And then do like Rebels did with Clone Wars. Make another show.
Yeah.
And then within like season 2 or 3, introduce Grogu as like 100, 150 or something. And have him, but don't do that in the first season of the show. Do it in like second or third season, like they did in Rebels, when they introduced the clones. Introduce him, and have him then a bit later on become a part of the pack. That is, I think, the best way to go with these characters. Everyone else can be like filler if the planet is revisited. Bo-Katan is probably going to get her own show, which means that all the Mandalorians are whooped into that right away. Ahsoka's getting her own shit. So I guess you could say, quote-unquote, Mando original characters, other than High Republic ones, only show them if their planet is visited. Cut the characters, unless they release a Grogu show, which... I'm not going to lie, with the development that he's had so far, would be dumb.
Yeah.
And if they're going to do it, don't do it like right after the final season of Mando. Have it start when he is like 200, 300. Have him be his own character, making friends. But I think if they do that, the thing that they should focus on, in my opinion, focus on the fact that Grogu can't really make friends. He's gonna live because he's gonna outlive all of them.
Yeah.
He's like Cain from Christianity. He lives through life. He's not gonna be able to make any meaningful friends because he's just gonna lose all of them. They're all gonna die at some point. That's what I'm thinking. They're all gonna die at some point. Like he's gonna outlive all of his friends.
Yeah.
So I think that's the way of doing it. But I think we can all agree to end this episode off. I think the most important thing, we all agree that this season was a bit of a letdown. It had its moments. It had some parts that we enjoyed. There were some good parts, but it definitely was a letdown season and a poor performance on Disney's part. And we all agree that the key things in the next season, the dynamic between Din and Grogu, whether that be the Bonnie and Clyde thing that I talked about, I think that would be the best route to go. And then develop both characters. Develop Din into the father figure, the mentor, and develop Grogu very, very quickly into his own character. Start him off as like semi-decent, with a weapon, with some new clothes, so he can actually do something. Start at mid-mission, and they have a conversation whilst fighting. Din giving him some pointers, saying like, "Oh, do that," and then he does it, and he's like, "I got it," and then he does it, or something. You know, start it off. Interestingly, drag us in right away with something that we haven't seen so far in the show, and please have that be something with Grogu. But
and can handle do something.
Yeah, like have Grogu be able to do something other than just be in the way.
Hopefully, we see him as soon as we get into the episode, mid battle or something, midway going through something, and Grogu already have a weapon or something to kind of defend himself, and see him do something.
Have them Bonnie and Clyde, have them fighting together.
Yep.
I think we can all agree that that's the most important thing. But yeah, any of you guys have any closing points, something that we haven't touched on that you want to like really briefly point out? No?
I don't know. Do you? I kind of think we all agree on this.
Yeah, it seems like we're very much on the same page. Yeah, I think we have. Obviously, we didn't mention anything super specific. This was more of a Mando recap for this season. For those of you who didn't pay attention at the start, it's more of a recap, not a review. Just going through a bit of like, mostly obviously was criticism, but that is because that's kind of what we wanted to focus on, because we want to see it get better in the next season, because that was obviously the best segue into the trailers and theories part of this episode. So thank you all so much for watching, listening, whatever the fuck you have been doing to the show. It's been great to be back, and we're gonna get some more stuff out very, very soon, depending on when I post this up. We might already have done it, depends if you watch the streams. But thank you all so much for listening, watching. Be sure to check out all of our social links for the podcast. They're all in the description if you're watching it on YouTube. If you are on Spotify, head over to YouTube and check the links out in the description. I also have my stuff over there because I do stream, which is where we're doing all this shenanigans. And check it out on Spotify, guys, and leave a 5-star review. If you do enjoy the show, if you are watching on YouTube, and if you are listening on Spotify, please do the same thing. Give us a bit of a good review if you do enjoy it. Leave us a like, subscribe if you're on YouTube, and yeah, it's good to be back. I think it's finally going to start to be on the look up, and I think you were going to get a bit into this weekend. Me and Vector are going to go a bit into parts of why we have had a bit of an hiatus, so that should also be a lot of fun. That's a new thing that we're going to start off now that I've been planning on for a while now. Finally going to get it done. So thank you all so much. And Vector, what happens if they don't like, subscribe, and give us a 5-star review?
We're gonna get a plastic fork.
Oh, that you know what? They can get OG Boba Fett. If they're gonna get OG Boba Fett. If they don't like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Keep up to date with all the things we're doing. Join our Discord.
Jeez.
Come in, talk to us, have a good time. But yeah, if you don't, you're gonna get OG Boba Fett, and you're gonna be put on someone's wall in carbon.
Yeah, guys, we're talking about the guy that Vader told no disintegrations. All right, so if you don't do that, you're kind of fucked. But yeah.
Wish you luck.
That's our thread of the day. So I mean, unless you got Bosk or Emba on your side, I think you're pretty fucked. Unless you got Django, but he's probably dead anyways. So yeah. Well, we'll see.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck to you bastards. I doubt that you have anything against him. But yeah. Thank you all so much, and hopefully we'll catch you on the next episode of the High Council podcast. Peace out, everyone.